Show that knuckle.
Right there, that thing sticking out.
Here we go, going through the knuckle.
Stop. Here we go. This is the second half of the chicken. You're going to find that breastbone and you're going to work your knife down. And what you want to do is, just like butchering fish, you want the bones to be your guide. So once I've separated down the breastbone, I can feel the rib cage in there. You can actually see my knife move over the rib cage. We're going to flip this around. We're going to finish the breast cut, trying to stay close to the bone, and we're going to come right down here and find this wishbone, which is right there. I can feel it with my thumb. And then we're going to start working down the wishbone. Now, you got to be careful here because this is that tender. That's the chicken tender, and you want it to stay attached to the breast. So you don't want to work the meat like with your thumb. You want to just let the knife do the work. Follow the rib cage around. And you can see that we're pretty far down in there. I can start to feel this knuckle down here. So you want to break this apart a little bit. You want to find the knuckle, which is right there. And you want to work the tip of your knife in there and cut through the knuckle. Now that separates the breast from the rib cage. Right there. Now in the back, you're going to continue down this rib cage here, and you want to find the leg muscle. That was the wing joint. So you work that down. Now the breast, for all intents and purposes, is removed from the rib cage now. There's just some fat, some skin holding it, which you can cut right through. And then down in there, try and get it clear. You can actually break this, and you can see where the leg bone is coming through right there. You want the same thing. You want to work the tip of your knife down in. And you want to cut right through that joint. That's going to separate. The tender stayed on real nice. Now if you peel that piece off right there, you're going to have a chicken tender. But we want to leave that attached to the breast. Flip it over, you're going to see that's a whole half a chicken. Suitable for baking right there. For our purposes tonight, for the red curry breast, we want to do a fancy schmancy breast. So we want to leave the shoulder to the elbow on, and we're just going to remove the wing. Same thing, you find the joint, and then you just work your knife down through the cartilage there, and you leave a nice clean tip on the top. Remove the wing completely. And that's going to be baked like that, so it's like sticking up when you're done baking it. Same thing, it's the skin that's holding the breast together. So you want to gently set it up so you can just cut through the skin. And then you've separated the leg from the breast. Now that is a very nice breast, big plump breast, ready for cooking. The thigh's good. You just want to kind of remove some of this excess, trim it up nice. And this could be a chicken wing, but for today we're going to use it for stock. We're going to make a white bean soup. We try to leave as little meat on there. This is actually the nicest piece of dark meat right here. It's hard to get when you're butchering the whole chicken, but I mean, it's really only, you're only going to get that when you roast the whole chicken and you eat it out of there. That's my favorite little piece of meat right there. When you pop that out off a whole turkey or a whole chicken, it's really good. But we're just going to use it for the stock today. So that's it. Not much wasted meat on there. Nice and clean. This is going to be a standard chicken stock. So if it was a wild game stock, we'd probably want to cut this up a little and release some of this marrow out of the bones. But for today's purposes, we're just going to put it right in the pot, ready to go. I'm going to wash my hands before I handle the vegetables. We got some fresh onions out of the garden. We don't have white onions, but the white, it's just for flavor. So we're going to just basically cook these whole.
Action.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to add vegetables to the stock, and I've gone through the refrigerator and gotten all of the old vegetables. You can see the carrots are all soggy. Green onions out of the garden, but we reserved the good green onions for the soup, and the crappy green onions for that. We got some rotten celery. I'll trim the bottom off it because it's a little too rotten. Just trim the extra rotten pieces off. But that's it. And we're just going to rough cut these so they're easy to get back out of the stock, basically. You want aromatic vegetables: carrots, celery, and onions. Those are the base. That's the base of any good stock. You got the chicken bones and the aromatic vegetables, and that's what we're gonna do. So we've got that. All of that goes in the pot with the chicken stock, with the chicken bones. There's that. Some whole garlic, we can just put that in, skin and all. The skin's actually really good. Like usually in a kitchen we would take the cloves out of the skin and use them for cooking, and the skin would be reserved for the stock exclusively, but in this case we'll just use the whole thing. Throw that in there. Let's go up in the spice rack. And we need some bay leaves. Good. Couple of big bay leaves. And good pinch of salt. Some fresh cracked pepper. Not too much flavor, because later in whatever you use this for cooking for, you're gonna no rubber bands, but it doesn't hurt. A lot of times in the restaurant you get these in with the stock and nobody knows. We're gonna fill it up, like I was saying, not too much flavor, just a little salt and pepper and herbs. And that's it, because you really want it to be mainly chicken flavored, because you're going to add whatever flavor you want when you make a soup, when you make whatever you use it for, soup, sauce, whatever. So we're going to fill this up until it just about covers the bones. It's going to make a good amount of stock. You're going to end up, in the end, you're going to end up reducing this by about half. A good thick chicken stock. You're going to put this on, put it on high until it boils. You're going to bring it to a good hard rolling boil. And then at that point, you're going to bring it to a rolling boil for a couple of minutes. Then you're going to want to skim any of the dirty foam that comes. We'll show you that in a bit. But it's going to get a little foamy, and you're going to see it's going to look dirty. So then you skim that foam off so that the flavor doesn't get incorporated into the stock. And then you continue to cook it. And then we'll strain it, and we'll have stock. I believe everyone should be comfortable when they cook. So you can see that there's no scummy foam. It's all very nice chicken and oil. And it's turning out to be beautiful stock. That means it was a really, really clean chicken. So there we go. We'll just let that simmer for a little while until it's good and thick.